Kind of a heavy question. It's from a lady who's going through a situation where a baby in the family has passed away.
Yeah.
And with all that she is, she wants to believe that this baby is in paradise with Jesus, but she's not sure if that's a biblical concept or not. It says we're kind of born into sin. How does that kind of work, and how do you reconcile that biblically as a believer?
Yeah. Very, very important question. Very powerful. I did a long write-up. If anybody maybe says that is something that I'm personally struggling with, I will make those notes and questions available online not too far from now, because I address this biblically all the way through. Here's the short version of it. I believe children are safe in the hands of God, and I think there's a number of biblical reasons why. Whenever the Bible talks about the death of a child, it is never in a negative term. When it talks about a stillborn infant, even Job, when he was going, I wish I was just stillborn. I wish I was just, it always seems to be better than whatever's going on here. There is what I believe, and many scholars would argue with me, but I believe that there's great biblical evidence to believe in what's called the age of accountability. And what that means is that even though you're born into sin and you are a sinner and you are wicked, you are not held accountable for that sin until you are aware of that sin. First of all, it talks about the law is in effect where you know the law. If you don't know the law, it has a different effect on you. The idea is also explained in Scripture that God will nail us to the wall based on things that we know. When Israel was going through the desert, they were all murmuring, it says, and they all grumbled against God. And yet, only men over a certain age were held accountable for that grumbling, and the younger generation got to go in. Remember, it said, all this generation will pass away, but the under ones will get a chance to go in. So there was an age restriction where they counted it for some older and not for some under. So really, in my mind, based upon all the evidence in Scripture, I believe that children pass away to be in the presence of the Lord immediately, that He would shield them. He said something to the effect of, it better be a millstone tied around your neck than for you to harm one of these little ones. The Bible has a weird reference to, it talks about little ones saying, your angels in heaven, and then he goes on, almost like they have guardian angels over little kids. That's where that phrase comes from. There's far too much interest in children, protection of children, guidance of children, for me not to believe that they are indeed in the presence of God.